Welcome to the Embodied Wisdom Podcast.
Okay, good. Okay, so tell me, Samantha, what it is that you do for your clients. And so introduce yourself, who you is, what you do, who you serve, all the things.
All the things. Well, Tammy, what do I do? I do a lot. Uh, People come to me that just want some support with tweaking their well-being. They're just stuck in something, they're in patterns, they're not happy, there's something off, and they come to me so that I can help with, you know, nervous system regulation, with somatic healing practices, with shadow work, with and then just all the categories. I've had clients of a whole slew of variety of, strictly just for business or strictly just relationship or body image or body positivity, um, family, romantic partnership, or just, hey, I have never really spent time on myself very much, or I have, but I'm not doing enough. So I've gotten all across the board, all different types of people, all walks of life, which I love because I've had quite the extensive background of a work history. I've worked with all kinds of people. I've worked with those A-type personalities. I've worked with, busters and dishwashers, and we're rapping and making jokes of crappy situations at a restaurant. I've worked at a psychic bookshop. I've done all these things. And then when the life coaching came in and I saw that as that's a job, that's pretty cool. This is a place I can land and be myself and have other people present with me, and we can ground ourselves together and work through these shifts that they're wanting to elevate their lives. I'm all in. And so almost 10 years ago, I began the life coaching. But before that, um, I'm, even though almost every single job at some point, I was like, I need out. This isn't aligning with my spirit. It's spirit dimming. It's not for me. All of that I'm so grateful for because it led me to the life coaching, which gave me the experience to help my clients.
So do you find that there is a particular, because you just gave me every single problem that everyone experiences. Is there a particular one that you seem to attract more than anything else?
Yeah, I think it's mostly people that are somewhat fast-paced, and ironically enough, or interestingly enough, they're not even necessarily conscious of it. Fast-paced people, hustle culture, um, or maybe not even too rapid fire of living, but something about them they're just letting pass by. They're just in a disconnect, is probably a better way to say it. So whether they're living life in the fast lane or not, it tends to be the people that are just at a disconnect and they need to just reel it in so they can find their grounding and their presence and tap into more of the playful spirit side rather than this serious, like, must get this done, must have a goal, must meet this criteria by this specific timeline, which I used to be like that too, until I slowed myself down and I started to integrate better practices for myself. Um, and I just naturally did this in my own life before I even heard the words life coaching or health coach or anything like that, any kind of coach. And I really tapped deep in myself and I truly started to experience that. And then I think those are probably, to answer your question, the types of people that come to me. It's like they must feel, I mean, I've had people come to me and stand right in front of my face. Um, Not too long ago, someone came to me and said, your presence is very calming, and I need that right now. And it was literally at a wild, crazy event that they were hosting. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad because their nerves were like frazzled. It was a social setting, it was high energy, and someone needed to be brought down to a place where they could just feel calm and regulate their nerves. And I was just chilling. I was just hanging out. And it's something about that moment. It's like they went shoo, and they just like stood right in front of me, and it was like a magnet, you know? And I'm so happy to be that for anyone because I too need that. All humans need that, you know, and we need to try to mirror that for each other as much as we can.
Yeah. Okay, so it sounds like the people that you attract are just they're just generally unsatisfied with their lives, which
That's
I feel like is most humans right now. They're doing their job. They're doing the things that they were told they should. Oh, get married, have kids, have this like successful job, right? They're doing everything that they were taught to do. And then they're like, "Ugh, is this it? This is very unsatisfying." I feel like the majority of the world is there right now. And I believe that's why a lot of people are hiring coaches right now because they're like, help get me out of this rut. Like, what am I missing? So I'd love to know what it is that you do for your clients that helps get them unstuck.
good question. So, I mean, again, people come to me for the variety of reasons, right? But they often, and more often than not, and maybe every single time, 10 out of 10, I don't know, it's a high percentage, don't really see what the underlying factor is, or as we would
Oh, they
say,
have no reason why they're drawn to you?
no, meaning they don't see it. They don't see the underneath.
Uh,
So they might think I'm coming because I just can't lose weight and I have a poor body image and I don't feel good about myself in my body. But really, when we unravel the onion, we come to the conclusion that it's something completely different, always connected, because everything's always connected. But it's something that it's like, oh no, we're going down this other path. Oh, there it is. And so people don't take time. And a coach like me will help navigate through the woods and venture through which road is going to take you to understand and uncover the root of the problem. Because we're always in this society trying to mask everything, right? And it's
mhm.
like, it's unreal how far it's gotten worse and worse, especially these past several years. It's like figuratively and physically masking. And we're just covering ourselves up and filtering our lives so much so that we start to believe it. And so we're kind of burying ourselves. And so what we tend to think consciously is our problem might not even necessarily be really the whole problem. It might be a byproduct of the problem, but what's the real problem? So that's what I help try to determine.
Okay, so you get like to the root of the because that's essentially what I do too.
Yes.
I work more specifically around relationships. That's the pain point that my clients tend to have is the relationships. But we do the same thing where we find the pattern and
Hmm.
then we track it all the way back to the seed because I believe the seed is the belief. The belief was created in early childhood. It's got all this pain wrapped around it. So we work on emoting the pain, removing that from the field, from the body, and then finding the belief. That's
Yeah.
really what I do. But it sounds like you work on a broader level with a lot of people towards a lot of things, which is interesting. Because that's how I started. I was like, I just want to deal with people's trauma. But then I'd work with different coaches and they're like, oh, you got to niche down, you got to niche down, you got to niche down. And so I ended up picking relationships because it was my biggest pain point.
Mm.
When I was in my top, before I had really healed myself, my husband and we've been together 19 years, but we had a very toxic relationship for the majority of that. And it was because I had all these wounds from my childhood. He did too, but it just took me looking and healing my wounds to completely transform the relationship. In fact, my relationship with everyone and everything. But that was my pain point. So it's what I chose to focus on. But that brings me back to your story. But because you say you've had a lot of like experiences, and that's what I want to get to because I love to excavate. There is a reason why you chose this career. And
Mhm.
I know it's because you had a bumpy start.
Sure. Well, I mean, it's still bumpy.
Yeah.
So
Not
that,
that it ever gets completely smooth. I don't think
no.
any of us came here for like a really smooth, flatlining experience. I believe we all came for the ups and downs,
Yeah.
but I'd love to hear about your story, your personal story.
Sure. So, I mean, growing up, it's interesting because you get such a interesting stories from people where there's there's a lot to unpack. Like all of a sudden you're hearing about somebody, and I did listen to your story, by the way.
Oh,
I
you
don't,
did?
yeah, I did. I don't know if it was the your first episode, but I got a little bit of background on you to understand who I'm talking to today because
Oh,
I'm
good.
always, yeah, and I'm always interested. I want to say before I answer your question that you are truly brave to come here today to, well, not just today with me, but I mean, you're brave in your todays, in these lately now moments to come out and speak about such personal experience because it's so deep and it's obviously a lot for you to have gone through, but to actually speak on it and to be on a camera, to say it out loud, to hear yourself, I'm sure is, I can imagine a lot. And when I was listening to you, that was just the word. I was like, wow, because a lot of people go through things like you in a similar kind of fashion, and they just hold it to the chest. They don't talk about it. Not that you have to create a podcast or, anything. I mean, people go different ways in their life, but the fact that you have a podcast, you created a platform, you're doing the work that you're doing, I mean, it's like healing and empowering at the same time as being informative and educational for other people. And that we need more of that. So I just like,
Oh, that
Yes.
means so much to me. Thank you so
Well,
much.
it's like we do. We need more people like you. So
Oh.
it's very empowering and uplifting. So yes, it's hard to hear, the shadows and the underneath of our self, but oh goodness, hang on. When I get a call, the thing goes away. And you
At
see
least
me.
I get a song from you while you take
I'm
that
gonna
call
try to
away.
get you back here. Where'd she go? Let's do a song. Shall we do some voicing? So shall we do some voicing
Oh,
here?
I think I want to see you,
Oh,
hear
here we
you,
go. Okay, I'm back. So sorry about
sing
that.
your song.
I'm here. I'm back. Uh, okay,
I
but I
appreciate, and by the way, I really appreciate that you did that investigation. I think that's really cool to know who you're talking to because it makes for a richer conversation when you have that piece.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I don't want to just, come in like we just, bumped elbows at a coffee shop and now we're on a podcast. I mean, that could be a thing
That
somewhere.
could be a thing, actually. Hey, Tammy Cox here. If you're ready to stop repeating painful relationship patterns and finally create the love and connection you deserve, there is a way. Click the link in the description to schedule a call with me and let's talk about what's really holding you back. Now, back to the show.
Pro no.
Actually, I think I'm going to go to the coffee shop and bump into a couple of elbows and say, come on, be on my podcast. You got a story in you, don't you?
You just shove a mic in their face and you're like,
Yeah.
oh. Um, so no, I like to know, obviously, we don't know each other. We just met today, but It's like, I want to know, I'm so interested. I mean, look at us. We're both in this same kind of field where we're healers and we help people and we want to support people and we want to offer education to help people integrate better tools into their life so that they don't have to live in the shadows because we live with our shadows, but you don't have to live in it all the time. So anyway, I digress. To go back to your question, so my story basically is I grew up in a family, a very nice family, very loving family, full of love, really, really,
I
really nice.
feel that. I feel that.
Well, my mom is like the sweetest person in the world. My dad, super cool guy. He was always working, and I don't know. It's kind of, I don't like to lump people together so much, but I am gonna say here that it's kind of a generational thing where in the time frame that I grew up, it was not perfectionism. It was like the go-getter era, where it's like there's high expectations and there's pressure. So, yes, I lived in a loving family, a very kind family, and supportive in many ways. But at the same time, a lot of things were hush hush. Like we didn't really talk about finances or money. I'm a very curious person. I would love to know, like, how much did we pay to live in this house that we're living in? I want to learn about, how to, what APR is. I don't want to have to go to college to learn that. So there were things in my life that I was kind of sheltered from in this very loving family that I kind of had to get street smart on and as well as book smart. And so this is where I had to do the personal investigations to navigate a lot of real life stuff. And I say all this with love because I also know that many families are like this as well. It's not like your parents educated you on everything. They didn't sit down and say, today you're going to learn about credit cards or you're going to learn about a bank account. I think as a homeschooling mom now, and I'm sure this will resonate with you and hopefully some of your listeners, we are in a different time now. So when I felt like I was in a pressure cooker back then to perform and to succeed and to be in a four-year university where I was like, no, I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. I don't want to go to a college. I don't know the classes I want to take. Does this make sense, parents? And so there was a fight there. I didn't feel prepared for the world. Now I look at that piece, and again, I had many beautiful pieces of growth and child rearing from my family, but the one piece I didn't get was not allowing myself to have space or my family, because when I was under 18, not allowing me to have space to create, to pull from places and to know, okay, I'm going to try this out. No, that's not for me. I'm going to try this out. No, that's not for me either. Going to try this out. Oh, that's kind of interesting. And of course, none of us go through that until we're actually out of the house, taking maybe some college courses or going to a vocational school or trying on different hats at different jobs. Um, and maybe that's what led me to the many, 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 many jobs I've had in my life because I always wanted to try on different hats and play different roles to see what fit. And throughout all that, I saw that there were beautiful pieces interwoven in every single job that I've ever had that I did align with, but none of them were enough. And so I would take a step to the side and try something else, or a step up and try that. And it's funny, I've said this so many times to people, but I've counted. I've literally had more than 30 jobs in my life and never been fired. I just always kind of wanted to experience different things and see what fit better. And now with my child, as a homeschooling mom, I have the conversations that I wasn't offered, where we talk about um, all the topics that it wasn't on the table. Maybe if I asked, it would have been there, but I was a kid, so I didn't know to ask. And so I'm breaking a generational type of ideal so that my child can have more openness and expansiveness about the way the world works.
Yeah.
It's like I want to be her encyclopedia.
Oh,
Um,
you do?
and
Oh, girl.
I want to be. I just
That's
want
why
to be.
we have Chat GPT.
Oh yes, I know. That's true. But no, I want to be someone that, and look, by the way, if I don't know the answer to something, I'm not a know-it-all either. So I'll gladly say, Mommy doesn't know that.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Let's research that. But but the things that I do know and that I've experienced and I can come with wisdom to offer my child, then absolutely I'm going to offer that to her because it's going to help her own growth. So when you pair your own experience with wisdom from other people that have been through it or maybe know a little bit further down the road, that's great. I just had, what I was told.
Yeah.
It wasn't like an offering. It was a different kind of communication. It's like, this is what it is. But it didn't let my curiosity peak or flourish.
Well,
It just kind
here's
of
the thing
stunted
with your
it.
personality, though. You're very unique. Most people are not like that. Most people want the same old same, right? They want to get a job, they want to master it, they want to be really good at it, they want to stick around, right?
Yeah.
Not past its due date, but they don't want to try multiple things. I am like you. I don't know what your life path is, but I'm a life path 5, and we thrive on change
Mhm.
and freedom.
Mm.
And so we love the experiences. We love to switch things around and change things. We thrive on that. But that isn't most people. So that's where I think astrology is so important because if we look at our astrology and look deep into it, it's almost like an imprint of our personality.
Mhm.
And it can be it can tell you as detailed as, the lessons you came here to learn. So I'm fascinated by your story of like, ooh, I can't get enough of the things. Like, let me try it all. I want all the flavors. Like, why would I stick to just one?
Yes. And at the same time, if anyone is like me in this listening, we have to be also very careful because this can go into like, you dip your toe in and you're like, and then and it's almost like you're all over the place, and that's not a
Yes.
healthy mind at all. So what I tend to do with this is I follow my interest, but I also follow it till it's not, I'm thinking of the word suffocated, and that sounds terrible,
Yes.
which I have in jobs. I've definitely like suffocated the hell out of it. And then I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get out of here. Many times, many times. I mean, as far as jobs go, um, or relationships even. But it's like that's where I started to listen to my intuition more. Eventually, in my young adulthood, I allowed my intuition to become part of my life and partner with my intuition, where I'm like, oh, okay, I know this relationship isn't good for me. My gut is telling me this. This job is not good for me. My gut is speaking loudly. I shouldn't make a turn at this light because I'm going to get into an accident. Didn't listen to that one, got into a massive accident. So, sharpening our skills as we go. But the reason that I think I've kind of followed all these different paths, I mean, there's probably many reasons, but I think a big one is there's so much when you look at life in a way where everything's so exciting and you're like, there's so much I can do. We come here and we get so limited in, okay, well, I'm really good at math, so I guess I'll go into finance. Okay, cool. You're good at that. Do you love it? You love it? Great. You don't love it? Well, what else are you good at? What else are you interested in? There's so many paths we can take. And so for myself, I was always trying to find something that sparked, that made me feel like my spark was ignited. And that's where this all stems from, and
That reminds me of the movie. Have you seen this? Is it called Soul, that Pixar movie?
oh, you know what? I don't think I saw it, but I know what you're talking about.
You're gonna have to watch it.
Okay, I'll see
Because
it.
what you're saying right now reminds me of that movie, like she was searching for the spark.
Oh,
And
okay.
I think you're on a really good path. In fact, this is what I tell my kids because now, I have two teenagers and I'm like, listen, I know that they say pick one thing. And I'm like, but that's such BS.
Hmm.
You just find what excites you right now. Hang out there, see what it sparks for you, right? But you don't need to pick one thing and do that for the rest of your life. My first career was hair. I loved doing hair. I love the creativity of it. I'm a very creative person. I love people, so I loved all the aspects of being a hairstylist, and I loved it for a long time. But guess what? It led me to something else, and what I do now just lights me up inside. It's not work to me. It is so fucking fun. And because
It
it's so fun, it just doesn't feel like work. And I tell my kids, when you find the things that light you up inside, you'll never work a day in your life. But I'm also still very creative. I love to create jewelry. I love to grow my plants. I love to create but I love that you're speaking about this because I think there's this beauty in exploring all of it and not limiting yourself to like
is.
just this one thing. Focus on this one thing for the rest of your life, period. I
Yeah.
think that's lame.
Yeah, it is. It is, because at some point we outgrow ourselves. At some point we get sick of ourselves. We get sick of who we're being in this job. We're like, okay, I'm maxed out. I hit my ceiling here.
Yeah.
We talk about women ceilings, whatever.
Yeah. The
Like
glass ceiling.
the glass ceiling. And I always have this like human side to me where I think beyond every limitation. I don't like labels. I don't like women versus men. This is why I coach both. People, I can't tell you how many people have tried to niche me down, same as you, but say you should only work with women. You're a woman, you should work with women. And I'm like, no, half my clients have been men,
Yeah.
more than half, but a lot have been men. And I'm
Mhm.
totally cool with that. It doesn't matter to me, gender, whatever. But when we pigeonhole ourselves, we are limiting we're putting a shorter ceiling on our creativity and that's for everything. And that's why people that are dating, because you deal with relationships, people that are dating, and as I like to think of it, you're like trying on people until you
Tasting the flavors.
I guess there's many ways we could say this. But it's like a trial. It's like a trial run. You're trying, it's like a stepping stone. If you're doing it in the right way, to me, it should be like a stepping stone. So you can apply this to anything in your life, but for the sake of the topic of relationships, it's like a stepping stone. If you know yourself so well and you let the experience happen instead of trying to control it, and dissect everything somebody said. Well, he said he's going to meet me at this time, but I know, whatever. These people get crazy in their heads. It's like if you just let things happen and just slow your roll with everything, then, you'll start to see who you are in that situation. Does this bring out the best in me? Does it bring out the worst in me? What does it bring out in me? What do I like about myself in this situation? What don't I like? And that helps you kind of depict where you are in that role. Again, relationships, job, home life, whatever the topic is, it's like a must. That's why I'm so big on tapping into your own empowerment to raise your own vibration, to elevate yourself and tap into your higher self as much as possible.
Ooh,
Because,
so let's go there.
yeah,
Because you're right. That's 100% necessary. And I think that most people want to do that and they don't know how.
right.
So let's break it down for them.
Yes.
how can they turn up their frequency? How can they raise their vibration? How can they get themselves in a higher state?
So to start, you just have to get real with yourself. You got to get real. You got to face yourself. You got to face everything. You have to face your demons. You have to learn to apologize to yourself. Learn not to live with shame, not to live with guilt, not to let your past hold you and just like by the shoulders and just run you everywhere you go. There's a lot of detachment that needs to be done. And I don't think a lot of people understand what that type of work is. That's more in the realm of shadow work, is I guess what I'm speaking on right now. But in any type of healing environment or situation that you want to heal from, anything you want to kind of move through, it's so important to be honest with yourself because if you are not vulnerable and if you're sitting in a place of a charged negative emotion, that's running the show. And now you're veering more towards ego instead of living in spirit. And when you're in spirit and you're connected to what's really going on. It doesn't matter if you just had a conversation with your best friend and all of a sudden you're vulnerable and you're showing a different side to you and the conversation didn't go as well or as planned. You shouldn't plan a conversation, but as you thought, that's okay. Whatever happens is okay because anything that's closer to the truth of you is exactly where we want to be. And it's going to bring out the shadow. It's going to bring out the tough conversations. It's going to bring out um, learning where the toxicities are in our life, learning where the poor habits are, learning where we need to retract and not shove down, but actually let it all up to the surface. Just let's look at all of it and be gentle and kind with ourselves and slow it down. And there's no timeline. There's no timeline on this. It's just you bring it up to the surface, you look at it. It helps when you have support, one person, a partner, a coach, somebody to help look at this with you because when you hear yourself talk out loud or write things
Mhm.
down, this is where you go, ah, and it's like light bulb moments, and you go, oh, well, I already knew that, but why is this hitting me now? And you start to have these flashes of, what we think is coincidence, but it's
Mhm.
it's really just alignment. When we start to actually see things as they are, not as they were, or as we're trying to make them be, we're not going back, we're not going forward, we're here. And so, in the presence of what we look at as we develop our knowing of ourselves, we start to let ego fade away. We start to live in presence with spirit, and we are more connected to higher self. And lastly, higher self is never a destination where it's like you attain it and then that's it. It's always here. And we always just have to move ourselves up. So the frequency is always like in 2 seconds, I can just pull myself and start smiling and be like, oh my God, I was just being such a jerk. Like, I mean, I do this all the time. I'm like, I was not being cool. Why did I say that? It's it's starting to get yourself into better practice with yourself. So the things
I
you
love
think,
that.
say, do must be practiced. It's always a practice. It could be years until you finally don't say that thing anymore or don't speak poorly of yourself to yourself or to others or interrupt people or whatever the case is. When you start to practice it more and more and more, it's like readily available and it's easier to access that higher self frequency. It just comes quicker, more naturally, more synchronistically.
I love that you just said like raise yourself up, right? Because I love giving my clients something tangible that they could do. Like, for instance, when we are dealing with the shadow work, and we're becoming so aware of ourselves, if we think of it in a curiosity way versus judgment, it's so big, right? Because I see when my clients start to recognize their patterns, they get this shame and then they're like, oh, I saw this thing. And I'm like, no, we get to be curious. We get to be lighthearted. We're not going to judge you. We're just going to get curious and look at it and let these things come up and bubble up. And I love another thing you said about the authenticity piece. This is so important. Most people have no idea who they are. They have been so inauthentic. And the only way we can get really authentic with ourselves is, like you said, pulling all, um, it's like we are organizing our closet, right? We got to purge, we pull everything out and it is a mess, right? We got this here, it's just a mess in order for us to like get the things out that we want. And then we get this beautifully organized space, but we have to let everything bubble up, bring it all to the surface, all the shadows, all the parts of you, ugly, cute, all of it,
Yes.
in order to look at it, because we can't bypass this one thing. I see a lot of people in spirituality, they want to bypass the shadow work. And then you see them there, they have a smile on it's just pasted on there and they're like, and it looks so fake. And I'm like, you're not really happy because
Mm-mm.
you haven't integrated the shadows. And the shadows is just as important as the light. It gets to be this beautiful dance with all the aspects of yourself, right? They're all here for a reason. They're here to teach you something. But if you're afraid to even look at it, then there's shame.
Yeah.
And I see so many people walking around so shameful. And it's like, let's just air it all out. Let's get it all out. Let's look at it. And then let's keep the stuff we want. And then let's have our goodwill pile. But I love the way you put that because it was really, really beautiful. And I think you said it in a way that I would never think to. And then just this whole like, I pull myself up, I can do it instantly. And sometimes I do that. I will look up just to be like, what's the bird's eye view? What's my higher self's view of this situation? And then I recognize that I'm not this meat suit,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
bigger aspect of me is not the meat. Although I can, look down and see myself from that perspective and go, oh, how interesting, and have a lot of love for this, this structure that is, allowed me to taste, smell, touch, have all the experiences. But at the same time, if we don't recognize in our healing journey that we are more than that reflection looking back at us, then we're not going to see ourselves as the whole being, and we're going to live very limited.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the spiritual bypassing, that really irks me and it's hard. So when we don't like something though, that's another point is or another case in point to make is we have to be careful when we don't like something that we see because maybe we've worked through that and other people haven't yet. We also have to be very careful to not judge them because I can
Yes.
easily roll my eyes and I see posts and memes and all these things that are making fun of it. And I too might laugh. But at the same time, not
Oh,
saying,
that was fully me, by
and
the
I'm
way.
like, oh, yeah. I mean,
You know
we
what
all,
I'm saying?
yes, I know.
That's the reason I could see it in someone else because I've been there.
Yeah. Well, you pick up what people are laying down when you've already been through it. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, I got your number. You can't fool me. And I have people that try to fool me all the time. I'm sure you do too.
And they fool themselves as well.
But that's the worst part. So
Yeah.
then I come back again, bird's eye view, and I'm always trying to take, it's not like, the high road, the saying of the high road. It's like, yes, that's great. We're trying to take the high road. But no, it's even bigger than that because it's not even a road. It's just like a limitless atmosphere where I am you, you are me, you are you,
Mm.
I am I, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Um, but we're all mirrors for each other. So it's like, and I always say this, everyone on their own path at their own time, and also no choice is necessarily a bad choice. It's just a choice.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is the thing, like you and I could be at the same starting point at something, and then you could go really fast and get there to the goal. And I'm really slow, but I'm seeing things along the way that maybe you didn't see.
Yes.
There's right. And there's never wrong ways. There's just different
Right.
ways. And so I don't, if you think about all the people that you know in your life, there's things that you're like, oh my gosh, they are way past me in these things like that I haven't even attained yet or grown into yet, that I would love to. And then you look at other people in your life and you're like, they don't get where I am at all. They are not even close to that. So,
Yes.
but do we fault them? Do we blame them? Do we judge them? No, because they're living their life, we're living ours. And if anything, it should be an opportunity as a reminder to be humble and have humility in where we are and where we started from, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, and then also it's like there's no judgment because you don't even know what they came here to learn in this lifetime, right? And we didn't all come to do the same thing and learn the same things, right? It's like just in the way that I used to judge myself, like why do I have this personality? I hated my personality and yet I couldn't not be it, right? And then when I looked at my astrology chart, I'm like, oh, I fully chose this personality. So what would the reason be that I would choose these things, right? And it makes so much sense. That's why I didn't even find it till recently. So that's why I talk about astrology a lot now because it's like it was all written there. And I just believe that when we look at it from a purpose standpoint, it all makes sense. Like we didn't all come here to do the same things. People came here to learn different things and to be different parts of the same play. But yes, we are all connected. We are one thing, having an experience together, having completely different perspectives of that one thing happening.
Yes.
But that no two people, this is what I know from dealing with so many people's belief system is no two people are exactly the same because they don't have the same beliefs.
That's so true. Yes.
And
That's
so if you think of the beliefs as just like the prescription lens that we're wearing in which we're perceiving all of life, it's like no two people have the same prescription. So we're all looking at the same thing, seeing completely different things.
exactly. And that's why we can't sweat the small stuff or worry about other people judging us because there are a million different versions of each of us because we're all looked at through
Depending on who's perceiving us in that moment.
different eyes, different brains, even a different mood in a moment of time
Mhm.
from that person. There are so many different ways to look at things, and people get caught up on the menial stuff. And that's why the saying, don't sweat the small stuff, is actually a very important saying for us all to remember, to breathe and just kick back. Life is supposed to be playful. I don't even like to call my job as a conscious guide work. I call it play. And there's a certain play on words that I use in my coaching because um, words are very powerful,
Mhm.
and when we start to understand that we shouldn't be in a box about anything. And to go back to what I said earlier, I don't like labels. I don't like, how people just add on a couple personality traits to somebody and they always see them as that. It's like every person has the opportunity available at their fingertips to be so many different things, to go so many different directions. And if we give people the space and grace to allow people to bloom in their own way or not, because not everybody's going somewhere. Some people just stick around same, same. And that's fine too. But it's not up to us to tell people what to do or how to be or how to view something. And I think the family that I came from was quite pigeonholed. And so that's part of how I am, where I am today, and who I am today is because there were very specific ways that I was being trained, to view the world, and this is this and this is that. And but through my curiosity, I was like, I don't know if this is the way that people are telling me. I need to figure it out for myself. And so I leaned into my rebellion because I was like, no, I don't like to be told anything. I mean, I'll be told something, but I would like it mentioned, and then we'll see. Like we'll see. Let's play with it, because is this what it is? I don't know. And now, even more so, the past several years, I have leaned even deeper into that. We'll stick with the word rebellion here. Of, I mean, it's just curiosity. It's leaning into curiosity. It's leaning into, like, is this what people present things to be? Or why are we not questioning things a little bit more?
Mm,
And then that all circles back to, why are we not questioning ourselves more?
yeah.
And not in a shameful way, I mean in a positive, empowering way. Like, why aren't
Yeah.
we questioning what's available to us in a positive fashion, Like, what are you made of, kind of thing.
I like to say this throughout the day is like, I'd like to receive any gifts, upgrades, codes that are available to me right now. Whatever upgrades are available to me, I'd like to receive that right now because I think if we allow it, we're constantly being upgraded.
Mhm.
Constantly, if we allow it. Not, I'd say the majority of people are probably not allowing this, but when we know we have access to a higher way of thinking, to more giftings, to a fuller, more expanded consciousness. Is like just this idea that, okay, I'm open to receiving. Like, I want to be expansive because most of the time and most of my life, I lived very contracted. I was scared of it. So scared, right? Very contracted. And now I like to open myself up. I like to think about my heart being like wide open and just expanding out to the earth, like big and beautiful. But I think that you made a really good point in that if we just focused on ourselves, like this is just in like every spiritual text ever, the very core of every spiritual text. But if we made it just about us and we sort of just didn't make it about anyone else ever again, like we would just have a very peaceful experience because everyone else is just a reflection of our own belief system anyway. So partly they're all they're doing is reflecting back to you yourself.
Yes.
And if we just made everything simply about us and not about anyone else, man, we would have a very beautiful world, would we not?
Yeah, it's very important that we look inward instead of the external, instead of toward the external, for peace. Because everyone, we can say shopping retail, or excuse me, retail therapy, we can do all these fun things, right? But that's like a momentary lapse into, I'm going to give this money to this person to buy this thing so that I can have. So this thing is just going to sit on my shoulder, the purse, the earrings, the whatever. Um, for me, I'm always about like an experience. Like when I gift people, even, I'd rather, I mean, depends how much money I'm spending, but I'd rather give someone a concert ticket, or, be like, hey, I'll meet you 2 hours away and pay for lunch. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, how are we out adding value to our lives?
Hmm.
But everybody is looking for this external pleasure to hit their pleasure centers of their brain. It's like, that's not necessary. That's a short-term fix.
Yeah.
And we're all so hyped up on these short-term fixes. I mean, all the alcohol, the drugs, the material possessions, the cars, the homes, the whatever is external, is outside of yourself. I mean, those things don't last. Those things aren't, there's no depth. It doesn't help your soul. It might help your experience in some way, but it's so minimal. And people don't think like that. If you had $100 right now, extra, just drop from the sky, here's $100. It's like, what are you going to do with that? Do people think about that? Would they even give it much thought? Probably not. They would just be like, "Oh man, I could go buy those shoes I've been wanting," instead of actually thinking, "What am I going to do with this energetic exchange, aka money?" You know, we have choices at our fingertips all the time. And it's
Mhm.
the way that people design their life through their choices that it's like, yeah, we can mess up a little bit or we can have some fun pleasures in life that are external, of course. But are you doing the internal work where the external is it's not even really affecting you in a way. It's
Yeah.
like if I had $100 extra right now, you know how I'd spend it? I would probably go spend it at some kind of healing center for like a healing service or something like that. That's just me. As opposed to like, yeah, I could use a new pair of sneakers right now. But but you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah, I
just
do get that.
choices. It's awareness. Like, how would you spend $100 extra right now?
Who are you asking?
You, I'm asking
Oh
you.
yeah, I there's this retreat that I want to go to in October. So that's what I'm thinking about, how I get to create some finances towards that. I'm same as you. I really love to nurture that spiritual side to myself because I've invested most of my treasure in that. So the Bible has this, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also, kind of saying this energetic exchange, right? Wherever you're putting your money, wherever your focus goes, wherever attention flows. Gosh, why am I messing this one up? You know what I'm
I
trying
know
to
what you're
say?
saying.
Okay. But it's like that's what's going to expand and get bigger and get better. So for us, we obviously share the idea that we love to grow spiritually because that's the aspect of ourself that's eternal. This part is going to disintegrate, die, but that spiritual aspect of us is eternal. It lives on forever. So we're investing in the eternal things
Yes.
versus the very temporary stuff.
Oopsie. Here I go again on somebody calling, and now I'm away from the Zoom.
And you get to sing a song because I still see you.
Oh, goodness. Well, I can't see you, and that's no fun for me. So how do we get back? How do we get back?
Find
There
your way back to
we
me.
go.
Got it.
There she is. Okay.
All righty. Well, that's funny because we're at an hour.
Oh, well, there we go.
It's time to wrap it up. So, Samantha, please tell the folks where they can find you and all your juicy bits.
Yes, darling, all about my bits. See, I can't do it. I can't do it. I gotta go.
You did it. You
Hardly.
juicy bits.
I don't know if my English friend would agree, but
She doesn't have to. We don't care about her opinion.
oh, okay, that's true. We're on a no judgment zone over here.
Hmm.
Um, I'm sorry, what was your question? I got caught up in our voices.
That's okay, darling. Where can everyone go to find you if they want to connect to your
Yes.
work?
So that would be rootswingswellness.com, my website. And you can find everything you need there. I have my social media, I have a free guide. It's all
Ooh.
there. Rootswingswellness.com. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. What a fun conversation it was with you, Miss
But you're
Samantha.
fun. You're fun. That's why.
I know I am fun.
You
Uh,
are.
Not everyone I get to play with can match the energy. So Miss Samantha she can come and play anytime.
Well, thank you. You're awesome. And I love this conversation. And I think we mentioned a lot of interesting stuff, fun stuff, and a lot of, yeah, it was good high energy here.
It
This is really
certainly
going to
was.
transport me into my day very nicely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
And I wish you all the best. I love your podcast. I think you rock. Keep doing what you're doing. You're
You
you're one
rock.
cool chick. You're one cool chick.
Wow. Thank you, Samantha. I think you're one cool chick too.
Oh, thank
Maybe
you.
we'll get to play together sometime
Yeah,
live in person.
that would be awesome. That would be really fun. Well, many blessings to you and your work and your family, and thank you.
Same to you, darling. Right back at ya.